Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about what the hell is going on with the world in December. Well, I want to say that I'm particularly excited about December because it's preparing us. It's laying the foundation of everything that's going to turn our world upside down as of January 2020. So consider December a bit of a preparation phase for the year that will, I don't want to make this sound more dramatic than it is, but 2020 is going to be the year when everything changes. A lot of things will go down. Our worlds might be literally turned upside down on a political, on a societal level, on a day-to-day level. We're all gonna feel this in different areas of our life, but enough with the talk about January and enough with the talk about 2020. Let us first focus on this very festive month that we have ahead of us. So what are the main astrological events happening in December? First things first, Jupiter, the planet of good luck, abundance, and all things good. A lot of things good. I don't want to say all things good because there are other planets ruling really good things in life. Jupiter enters a different sign. It enters the sign of Capricorn on the 2nd of December, and it's going to stay there until December 2020. So a 1-year cycle has ended. Jupiter spends 1 year in each sign, and a new 1-year cycle is beginning for all of us, and Jupiter brings with it a lot of opportunity. So yes, a lot to be excited about on that front. Then we also have a few more key dates and events happening in December. On the 12th, we've got a full moon in Gemini. On the 26th, we've got another eclipse, people. Have you been missing the eclipse season? Well, it's back. It's back with a bang. There is a new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn at 4 degrees of Capricorn. And last but not least, we're going to have Mars in Scorpio in its domicile, because Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio throughout the entire month of December. So more secrets are going to be uncovered. Without further ado, let me jump straight into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. So please listen to these, my lovelies. If you are an Aries sun or an Aries rising, you might actually find the horoscope to be more applicable to you if you are an Aries rising. This is a piece of advice that I give in every single one of my horoscope videos. If you're an Aries sun, also listen to the horoscope for your rising sign. So what is going on, Aries, for you in December? I'm very excited. You have got ahead of you a year filled with opportunity and abundance, and most likely material abundance coming your way through your career sector. So for the next year until December 2020, you've got the planet of good luck, and the planet that brings with it a great deal of benefits, that magnifies things. You've got Jupiter entering your 10th house of public life, career, profession, and I recommend to you that you take, especially at the beginning of the transit, so the month of December, you take this time to really put yourself out there, out forward, for a big step up in your career. I don't want to say just a step up. It is a major opportunity for you to get an increase, a significant increase in salary, a significant increase in status. If you've been comfortable in your current job, I would say do not allow yourself to miss this window of opportunity that is opening up in front of you. There might be opportunities coming your way and job offers there might be like this big opening for you. Maybe someone very high up is leaving your company and they are making way for you to step into their role. You might feel unprepared for what this job and this position and this level of authority brings with it, but that is absolutely no reason to say no to it. I also advise people to keep their eyes peeled for opportunities when they come disguised as hard work, because that is usually what tends to happen with the Jupiter transit. And it's very easy to just walk past a particular opening, to just walk past a particular job offer or an interview, because you might start to feel very comfortable in your role and in your position. Whilst I'm very happy if you do feel like that in your current job, you might become a little bit too relaxed and you might become a little bit too comfortable, and you might think, you know what, if I've got all these offers coming at me now, it means that, yeah, you know what, they're just gonna come at me whenever I feel like it. No, that is not true. You will have another similar transit of this type in your 10th house of career in 12 years from now. So it's either this year or it's 12 years from now. Again, not to sound too dramatic, but open up your eyes. And don't you dare, Aries, say no to a new challenge, because that's what you live for. That's what you thrive on. You thrive on new challenges. You thrive on new beginnings. It is going to probably mean a new beginning for you career-wise. It is probably going to make you reevaluate your status. Your status will probably be magnified. You will be in the spotlight more than usual. Take advantage of that. Use it in your favor. Now, on the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in your 3rd house of siblings and communication in Gemini. What the hell is going on? So, you might hear news from your siblings around this time, especially news that can be quite daunting, because maybe you never thought them capable of doing whatever it is that they are telling you they're gonna do now. Not in a sense that they are unable to do it, but it might just be quite shocking for you, whatever it is that they have to tell you at this point. It can be a little bit unexpected in terms of news. It might actually require you to travel, be it short distance or long distance. Another possibility is that a learning cycle that has been going on at least for the last 6 months for you, my dear Aries, is coming to an end. There is a completion, there is a culmination, and whilst that can be very satisfying in itself, you might feel quite tense because of it, and it might actually make you realize that you've got more to learn. It's not over. So this cycle of learning might be over, but it might be the case that you just now realize that there are actually more courses that you need to take. There are actually more skills that you need to pick up in the new year, and that can bring a little bit of tension in your life. It's also going to be a month, December is going to be a month filled with travel all over the place. So there's probably going to be a lot of like visiting relatives, going from A to B. I can see how you're going to be on the road quite a bit. And whilst you've got a lot of energy, at some point it might get to you. And from half of the month, from like the second half of the month onwards, you might be, you know what, just let me be. I need to rest a little bit. I need everyone to give me a break because I'm running around like a headless chicken. On the 26th of December, my lovely Aries, you've got the solar eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse happening in Capricorn at 4 degrees of Capricorn in your house of career. This is the time when you might hear of this particular piece of news regarding the career window of opportunity that is opening ahead of you. Or if you have already been offered a job, if you have already been offered a position, around this time you might decide to say yes, or around this time you might actually be stepping into your new role. Please be advised that eclipses are active 10 days before and 10 days after. So you might be doing all these things career related, or thinking of how you can advance your career throughout the entire month of December, to be honest. I love the eclipse time because it is trying, well, there's a few things happening. There is a trine to Uranus. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected developments generally. An unexpected piece of good news might land in your lap, and it's very likely going to have to do with your money sector. So all in all, your career is your absolute big focus for you this month, Aries. Take advantage of it. This is Max, guys. FYI. He's here to say hi. So, moving on to Taurus. My lovely Taurians, what does December have in store for you? So, the most exciting bit in December, I want to say, well, there's quite a few exciting bits. The first piece of news that I've got for you is that Jupiter, the bringer of good luck, the great benefactor, is going to start pouring its abundance and its optimistic, positive energy into your 9th house of long distance travel and higher education for 1 year. So you've got 1 year, my dear Taurus, where you will find yourself traveling abroad more than you've probably traveled in the past 12 years. You might also find yourself embarking upon a very mind-opening academic journey. So if you have been waiting to sign up for an MBA, for instance, for a master's degree, if you have been, if this is the year when you are enrolling into university, then be prepared for the ride of a lifetime, because your mind is going to be absolutely blown. At the end of this year-long transit, you will see the world in a completely different way, completely different lens. Not to spoil it for you, but for the rest of the year, for the rest of 2020, you will also have Saturn and Pluto transiting this particular house of yours, the 9th house of higher education, philosophy, religion, long distance travel. At the end of 2020, you might see the world in a completely new light. You might have revelations on a personal philosophical level. You might relate to religion and politics in a completely different way. Prepare for your mind to be absolutely blown away, and prepare yourself to meet people who can mentor you, who can guide you on this journey. It's incredibly exciting, and it's incredibly eye-opening. So I'm very excited for you, Taurus. On the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in Gemini in your 2nd house of earned income. This is directly opposing the sun in your 8th house of other people's money. So around this time, it might be a time when you have to actually pay some debts. If you have been owing anyone money, then this is the time for you to give them back what you owe to them. It is very possible that you might have a bit of a mini crisis related to the money that you make, maybe because you're going to be spending a hell of a lot of money on gifts for your loved ones and just treating themselves, and maybe yourself as well, a little bit too much. There might be like an unexpected expenditure, and you might think that, oh my god, like, why am I seeing all these people for Christmas? Why do I have to get anyone and everyone a gift? So halfway through the month, you might need to slow down a little bit with the spend. Just saying. Now, for the entire month, we've got Mars in your 7th house of partners and partnership and committed relationships. So I want to give you a bit of advice. I want to give you a piece of advice around this time. If possible, try not to get into too many arguments with your significant other. Because there can be a tendency of that happening. You might actually find out a few things about your partner that you are not necessarily very happy with or happy about. So please do resist the urge to jump at their throats or give them the cold stare. It might be best if you actually try to empathize with them and see where they're coming from and see if it's worth discussing what is going on with them and why they are acting in a certain way. Now, if you are single, my dear Taurians, December is a perfect time to mingle. Why am I speaking in rhyme? I don't know. I'm feeling very inspired by December, guys. Really, I am. I don't think I've been this excited about a month for a very, very long time. I feel that also on a personal level, there are a lot of things that will be changing for me. So I'm getting this feel of excitement. If you are single Taurians, you might find yourself attracting a lot of suitors, or what's the feminine equivalent of suitors? Anyway, a lot of people who want to hang out with you and have sex with you, probably. Pardon my French, but that's probably what's going to happen. It is a fantastic time, whether you're coupled up or single or in a committed or non-committed relationship. It is a fantastic time to get that release going through a lot of sex. It's going to be very good for the soul and for emotional bonding. Now, towards the end of the month, we've got a new moon happening. We've got the eclipse happening in your 9th house of long distance travel. So around this time, you might receive an unexpected good news that basically opens up that window of opportunity for you to travel, for you to learn, for you to expand your consciousness, your mind, your horizons, your life philosophy for the next year. Be aware that at eclipses, especially solar eclipses, there is a new chapter that we are being led into, and this new chapter is probably gonna cause quite the stir in your life, but be brave, Taurus. Be unconventional this time and say yes. Don't try to resist it, because if you resist it, you're probably losing the opportunity of a lifetime. And that is Taurus, my lovelies. My dear Geminis, what does December have in store for you? And what does 2020 actually have in store for you? Some good stuff is coming your way. Let me put it this way. On the 2nd of December, we've got Jupiter entering your 8th house of other people's money, shared resources, sex, death and regeneration. So when I say death, it doesn't mean literal death. It means a period of transformation and all the transformations that we go through in this lifetime. And Jupiter is going to stay there till December 2020. So you've got a 1 in a 12 years window to go through an intense period of personal transformation. Now, Jupiter magnifies whatever area of the chart it transits. So it is very possible that throughout this year, it will magnify any sort of unhealed wounds or trauma or hidden area of your psyche that you've been trying to ignore. You've been trying to just brush over and pretend that it's not there. It will be brought to the fore, very likely. It will be amplified, and it will force you to deal with it. It is very likely that it will force you to deal with whatever pain you've been trying to ignore, whatever pain you've been trying to brush over. It is going to force you to take a deep, profound look at yourself and make peace with that part of yourself that you've been trying to pretend doesn't exist. Now, on a lighter note, it is also very possible that throughout this year, you might be finally paid something that you are owed. So if you have been waiting for money to come your way from some sort of like insurance, or if you have been applying for a mortgage, let's say, or for some sort of investment from other people, even if they don't owe anything to you, it is very possible that the answer is going to be affirmative. You're going to get a yes from them, and you are going to get the money that will help you transform your life for at least the next year, I would say, but the effects are very likely going to be felt on a much longer timeline. It is also a time when, if you have been going through some sort of like division of assets process, that you will get what is rightfully yours. When we've got a lot of planets transiting your 8th house, you might also feel like you have to deal with a lot of karmic issues, a lot of apparently unintelligible. So it's not that easy for you to understand why you're going through this period of intense transformation at the surface. But if you have the courage to go in depth, if you have the courage to look your soul in the eye and say, okay, now I get it. Now I understand what I need to do in order to evolve, in order to transform and arise like the phoenix from the ashes. You're gonna be a completely new man or a woman at the end of this transit. It is also very possible that for the next year you're gonna be very focused on understanding how the relationships that you have in your life that require you to surrender control to an extent. So be them romantic relationships, be them professional relationships, be them relationships with your family, how they have impacted you up until now, and how you can regain control if you've lost it, and how you can basically accept what it is that they have turned you into. Now, for the entire month of December, Mars is going strong through your 6th house of day-to-day work. So, what does that mean? It means that you're probably going to be incredibly busy work-wise. There is going to be a lot of projects coming your way, a lot of activity. You're going to be needed a lot at work, whatever it is that you do. This is also a fantastic time if you have been looking for a new job. It's a fabulous time to interview. It's a fabulous time to show the world what you've got. It's also a fabulous time for you to take the lead in whatever it is that you do. You will be expected to take the lead, so better get ahead of that. On the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in your 1st house, with the moon directly opposing your 7th house of marriage and partnership. The full moon usually brings with it a completion, a closure, an end. It is likely that some sort of phase in your committed partnership is coming to an end. Maybe you're ready to move on to the next step, or maybe you're ready to move on from the relationship altogether. That's also a possibility. And last but not least, on the 26th of December, you've got this beautiful new moon solar eclipse, this new beginning happening in your 8th house. And I really like this eclipse because it's going to influence your year for the rest of the year. It is very likely that you will find yourself with a big fat paycheck in your hands, and it's basically a gift out of nowhere. You haven't worked for it, but here you are with it. What are you going to do with it? You did not foresee this coming, and it's going to open up a whole new string of possibilities for you. What are you going to do with your life for the next year at least? Well, don't take any rash decisions until roughly around the 26th of December, give or take 10 days before, 10 days after. Because what happens now is likely going to change your perspective altogether. So you don't yet have all the pieces to the puzzle, even though it might seem like it. Brace and pace yourself. Exciting things are coming. Now let's move on to Cancer, my lovely Cancerians, brothers and sisters. Because to those of you who are new to my channel, I'm a Cancer rising, FYI. Cancer rising, Capricorn moon, Aquarius sun. In case you are wondering. If you're not wondering, then you know anyway. So, what is going on with us, Cancers? Fabulous year ahead. Fabulous year ahead. Not so much for us, but more for our partners. I know, you're gonna laugh at it. Why the hell am I saying that? We've got Jupiter, the bringer of good luck, the bringer of abundance, the bringer of protection as well. Let's not forget protection. Jupiter is moving into our 7th house of partnerships, marriage, business partnership, anything that has to do with committed partnerships. So any contractual partnership, be it between spouses, be it between business partners. And Jupiter is going to stay there for 12 months until December next year. So for those of you who want to get married, Cancers, this is the year for you. I'm going to put it out there. A lot of people find themselves getting married when they have Jupiter transiting their 7th house of long-term committed partnerships. Now, Jupiter brings with it also opportunity, and it gives this sense of like having a lot of options, which is real. Some people actually get divorced during this transit because they feel like there is a whole new world out there with like a ton of potential partners waiting for them. So if your committed relationship is not solid, Cancerians, this might be the time when you're feeling lucky and you're saying, screw this, there is a whole new world out there. I'm gonna find me another man/woman in no time. So the keyword here is opportunity. It is going to your 7th house area, so your partnership, your marriage, your opportunities for finding a long-term partner are probably going to be the number one focus for you in 2020. To those of you who are married, coupled up, it is very possible that some sort of like unexpected streak of good luck is going to hit your partner in the head, and it's going to reverberate across in both of your lives. So the focus, whatever you do, is probably gonna be on your partners, my lovely Cancerians, for the rest of the year. Now, on the 26th of December, we've got this new moon solar eclipse happening in Capricorn at 4 degrees of Capricorn, again, in your 7th house of partnership. So it's like Jupiter is ushering in this window of opportunity and potential for the next 12 months. And around the 26th of December, give or take 10 days before, 10 days after, you might actually receive that piece of good news that is going to change what you and your partner's lives look like for the rest of the year. If you're single, you might have this new person entering your life who is probably like your ideal partner, and there is no one else other than them that you want to be with, and by the end of the year you might find yourself engaged to them. Just saying. For the entire month of December, you've got Mars in your 5th house. The 5th house is associated with fun and having a good time and flirting and enjoying romance. There's going to be a lot of parties going down in your life, Cancer, in December. You might actually feel more compelled to go out and socialize and mingle and flirt. You might be feeling very flirtatious. in December. You might feel like there's a lot of eyes drawn to you, which is actually true, Cancer. When you've got Mars in your 5th house of fun, you're gonna turn into the absolute life of the party. Now, to those of you who have a more settled lifestyle, it is very possible, if you're trying for a baby, that you might find that you have become pregnant. To those of you who have kids already, you might require a lot of energy to spend on your children this month more than you've spent in quite a long time. And I can imagine why. So a lot of preparations for like Christmas possibly, buying them gifts, making this month a very magical month for them. And let us not forget, on the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in your 12th house. So all this running around, all this partying, all this like a gift buying spree might actually get to you around the 12th of December, when you've got this full moon in your house of a retreat and isolation. And you might need a few days to yourself. You might need a few days to actually chill and calm down and rest a little bit, because December is hectic and eventful. So if you can, take a few days around the 12th of December, 3 days before, 3 days after, to rest for a little while. You don't have to be running around from one place to the next all the time, Cancer. And that is December for you. My dear Leos, what can you expect from the month of December? So, there's good news. There is actually a lot of good news for everyone. But for you, sorry guys. For you, my dear Leo suns and Leo risings, in December, on the 2nd of December, you've got Jupiter entering your 6th house of day-to-day work and daily responsibilities. And Jupiter, the bringer of abundance and benefits and protection, is going to stay there for the next 12 months. So what can that mean in terms of day-to-day life? First and foremost, if you're working for yourself, you might actually find yourself to be a lot more in demand than you have been for a very, very, very long time. You might find yourself to be very busy for the next year or so. It is a time to capitalize on all the requests coming your way. It is a time to usher in financial abundance by means of hard work. You might actually find yourself a lot busier this year than you have been in the past 12 years. So work and the quantity of work that's going to come onto your plate is going to be significant. But I say it's an opportunity for you to take your business to the next level up. If you are working for someone else, you might actually be offered a new position. It can feel like a bit of a lateral move, but that lateral move can come with significant financial rewards attached to it. If you are looking for a new job, then I would say December is a fabulous time for you to be interviewing, because you might just score that high earning gig that you've been waiting for. Now, for the entire month of December, Mars is going through your 4th house of home and family. So you might be spending a lot of time at home, surrounded by your loved ones. It can be a very active time. So you might find yourself doing a lot of stuff around the house, maybe renovating, maybe redecorating. I do urge you to use all of this energy that is pouring into your home sector in a constructive way. So don't use it by quarreling with the people around you. You might find yourself a bit in the spotlight at home, and maybe you're feeling that your family is is directing a lot of their opinions and energy towards you, and that can feel quite stressful, so please resist the urge to get into arguments. On the 12th of December, you've got a full moon happening in Gemini in your 11th house. The 11th house is the sector that has to do with friends, the groups of people that you are a part of, but also your long-term dreams and objectives. Full moons bring with them a completion, a culmination. So it might be that you are finally finishing up a project, or it might be that one of the dreams that you've been working towards is finally coming to an end. There does seem to be some sort of challenges, some sort of tension. Maybe things haven't panned out the way you wanted them to pan out. It might also feel like you don't have as much support as you used to have from your friends. I urge you not to take any sort of like hasty decisions, because we've got Neptune involved around this full moon, and Neptune can muddy the waters, and it can make us quite confused, and it can make us quite in the dark about how things really are. We might not see things for what they really are. I'm talking about you, Leos. And the month is ending on a very high note. On the 26th of December, you've got a new moon in your house of day-to-day work. This is a new moon solar eclipse, which is like a new moon on steroids. This is a whole new beginning for you in your job, in your profession. You might hear news of having been offered a new job altogether. You might hear news of a new project starting at work that is going to keep you busy for the next year. In any case, it seems to be news that is very much aligned with where you see yourself headed career-wise. And even if you don't get that like big promotion next year, it does look like this high-profile project that you're going to be involved in is going to help you in the long run climb up that career ladder. So that is Leo for December. My dear Virgos, what does December have in store for you? Well, newsflash, it's not about work, it's not about duties, and it's not about responsibilities. It's actually about love and romance, my lovely Virgos. So on the 2nd of December, you've got Jupiter, the planet that brings good luck, benefits, and protection, entering your 5th house of love and romance and creativity and children for the next year. So transits are usually stronger at the beginning and towards the end. So this is going to be a month in which I urge you to go out there, have fun, date. If you are single, go out and put yourself forward, because you might just meet the love of your life. If you don't, you're still going to have like an absolute ball of a month. It is a time for you to party, to let your hair down, to express yourself and allow yourself to shine. I know you love being under the radar and are not really a spotlight kind of person, but this is the month for you to appreciate how unique you are, and let the world show you that they appreciate you in turn. I don't want to stress how important this year is for you romance-wise. When Jupiter was transiting through my 5th house, so what is going on from December till December 2020 for you, Virgos, I actually got married on this transit, so it's brilliant. On the 26th of December, so we have the month starting off with like this whiff of love in the air, and we are ending the month for you, Virgos, with probably something very material, something that crystallizes itself in your love life, because you've got a new moon solar eclipse happening in your house of love. This is like a new moon on steroids. It's a brilliant new chapter in your love life. You might just feel like you found the one. FYI, eclipses are active 10 days before and 10 days after the 26th of December. So I'd say the entire month of December is in focus for you, love-wise. If you are coupled up, it is a beautiful month for you to rekindle that spark of romance in your love life. And if you're not interested in love at the moment, or if you're just like, no, that's really not what I care about for now, December is a beautiful month for you to start working on a pet project that allows you to express your creativity very openly. For the entire month of December, you've got Mars going through your 3rd house. It seems like there's going to be a lot of comings and goings for you, a lot of short distance travel, possibly a lot of going out, a lot of workshops, making connections, talking to people. There's like the spotlight seems to be also on your house of communication. You might seem like you have a lot more communicating to do this month than you normally do. And on the 12th of December, there is a full moon happening in Gemini in your 10th house, which is the house of career and public life. Full moons bring with them an ending, a culmination. You might be looking back at the entire year, at 2019, and assessing how far you've come career-wise. You might also look back and say, you know what, I'm not actually that happy. Maybe it's time in the new year for me to move on and focus on something else. It might also dawn on you how much attention you've been giving your career, and maybe your family might put you on the spot and say, actually, we could use a lot of that attention for ourselves. Don't you want to refocus your priorities a little bit? And some people might actually decide to quit their job around this time. They might decide to actually question their entire professional pathway and enter the new year with a new plan career-wise. So let me know how it's all going for you, Virgos. Now, my dear Libras, what is December about for you? I've got good news for everyone. I'm very smug this month. On the 2nd of December, Jupiter enters your 4th house of home and family. Jupiter brings abundance, and it shines a light and it amplifies whatever area of our chart it's going through. When Jupiter was transiting through my 4th house, we actually bought a flat. So next year, as of December, start moving in the direction of acquiring a new house if that is what you want, because the perfect house is going to come your way. It's going to spring out of nowhere and it's going to be laid out there for you. This is a beautiful, beautiful year for you, my dear Libras, to move into a new house, to buy a house, to pay out a mortgage. You've got the odds and the gods in your favor when it comes to your home sector. It is also possible, if you want to start your own family, that you do it this year, and you might hear some piece of very good news towards the end of the year, towards the new moon happening in Capricorn in your 4th house of family and home. It might feel like the old chapter in your life, in your family life and in your home life, has ended abruptly and out of the blue, completely out of nowhere, because we've got Uranus involved, which brings the unexpected news. You are entering a new chapter that is probably going to last for like 12 years. And this is related to your home and your family life. If you want to have babies, do try out for babies like crazy, because this is the year for you to have babies, Libra. And you might feel a lot closer to your parents and to your home and to your roots this year. So if you're not living close to your home and to your family, you might have this strong yearning, this strong urge to return to your roots. Now, Mars is going through your 2nd house of earned income for the entire month of December. You are going to be on an absolute shopping spree. You're going to be pouring money left, right, and center. It does seem like money is also coming your way. Money is going through your mind quite a lot. And you're putting a lot of energy into materializing that financial abundance. On the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in Gemini in your 9th house. Have you been studying something for the past year? Have you been faced with Have you had to confront your life philosophy? Have you had to confront your own beliefs? Have you realized that maybe the beliefs that you've had and the way that you've been looking at life is no longer serving you? That is very, very possible, my dear Libra. So you might decide to actually let go of some of your past conditioning, some of your past beliefs, and move into a whole new area of expanding your consciousness. All in all, a fabulous month ahead of you, Libra, I've got to say. All in the bosom of your family. New family, the family that you were born into, but it's definitely family related. Now, my dear Scorpios, what can you expect from December 2019? So, first and foremost, we've got Jupiter, the planet of abundance, the planet that magnifies things, the planet that brings opportunities, entering your third house for 1 year till December 2020. So, what does that mean? It means that as of this December, you will find yourself face to face with a multitude of opportunities to broaden your skill set, to learn new practical skills that you can apply on a day-to-day basis. You might decide to enroll upon a course that is going to help you do your job a lot better. You might realize that you have to go back to being a student, and the teacher will come. You will find the right teacher coming your way, or the right course, which comes with a teacher, obviously. This is also a year during which you will probably spend more time with your siblings. It's also very likely that in December, you will hear some really good piece of news related to your siblings, of how they are advancing their life, their career possibly. Mars, for the entire month of December, is still going through your first house. This can make you quite impatient with other people, and it can give you quite a short fuse to work with. Therefore, I recommend to you that when you find yourself being confronted, be gentle on others, because this transit might make you even more sarcastic and possibly more less passive aggressive, more actual aggressive than you want to come across. You are in full-blown action mode for the entire month. I do recommend that you let off some steam by working out, if possible, and not by antagonizing other people. Last but not least, we've got on the 12th of December a full moon happening in Gemini in your 8th house of shared resources and other people's money, as well as crisis and transformation. So this might be a time around maybe 3 days before, 3 days after the 12th of December, where you find out that you've got some dues to pay, you've got some debts that you need to pay back to other people, and they are coming to collect. It might also be a time when you realize that you have to face some sort of drama, internal wound, internal pain that has been festering inside of you, that maybe you've tried to put off for a while, but that is no longer possible because it might result in a full-blown mental breakdown, and we don't want that. So enjoy December, my dear Scorpio. My dear Sagittarians, what is going on in your life in December? I've got very good news for you, especially on the material front. So, on the 2nd of December, we've got Jupiter, your ruling planet, entering your 2nd house of earned income and house of values and self-worth. So, Jupiter, as you probably know, is associated with abundance, it's associated with good luck, it's associated with protection and benefits. When I had Jupiter transiting through my 2nd house of earned income, something unexpected happened. I was made redundant. Not exactly what you'd expect from a Jupiter transit, because Jupiter is associated with magnifying things. But what ended up happening was I got a sweet severance package, and I got offered in the same year a job that was paying almost 3 times more than I was making beforehand. So Jupiter delivered. The moral of the story is sometimes opportunity, which Jupiter is known to bring your way, does not come packaged up as opportunity in itself. It might come packaged up as a minor setback or a bigger setback. But I would recommend to you that if something like that does happen to you, Sagittarius, you see it for what it is. It's actually a push in the direction of even more financial abundance. So even if you think you're doing quite well financially right now, there's greater things on the horizon for you, my dear Sagittarians. For the entire month of December, you've got Mars going through your 12th house. You might feel the need to step away from the world. You might feel the need to spend a lot of time on your own, to do a lot of thinking and look inside of you rather than outside. It's also a fantastic time for you to meditate and to connect with a higher consciousness and to maybe even reevaluate your relationship with spirituality in general. In any case, spending time on your own might be very, very beneficial for your own psyche. On the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in Gemini in your 7th house of marriage and partnerships. Now, this seems to be a completion of some sorts. If you are in a partnership, you might be ending a specific chapter and entering a new one. It might feel like you have to let go, maybe, of a certain part of your committed relationship. Some people might actually break up around this time. But it may come as a bit of a surprise, and it might confuse you quite a lot, and it might bring with it quite a few unexpected elements. So if possible, I would say don't make any rash decisions around the full moon. The month ends with a bang. On the 26th of December, we've got a solar eclipse, which is the envoy, the messenger of a whole new beginning on the material side for you. You might be offered a raise at work. You might be entering into a new position altogether. You might be stepping up. In any case, it feels like there will be a significant increase in the next year in your sense of self-worth, and also in turn, because the world reflects what is inside of us, there will be a significant increase, very likely, in how the world values you and how they decide to pay for you, for your time, for your resources, for your energy, and all of that. So a very exciting month ahead of you, my dear Sagittarius. Capricorns, what the hell is going on with you? It feels like you've been under siege for so long, and I absolutely feel for you. Capricorn suns, Capricorn risings, Capricorn moons. The tide is turning. So if you've been waiting for the tide to turn, it is finally turning. On the 2nd of December, we've got Jupiter entering into your 1st house of personality and physical body, a new beginning, and how the world sees and perceives you. You might look back on the past few years and say, you know what, actually, I feel wiser and much better prepared right now to tackle the world than I have felt in the last 7 years, I would say. This is a time for you to give birth and allow to step out of that cocoon the new you, the wiser you, the better prepared you, the thicker skinned you, Capricorn. Not only that, we've got a new moon solar eclipse happening in your in your 1st house on the 26th of December, so around Christmas, but it's active 10 days before and 10 days after, and it will influence at least the next year. This is beautiful because it feels like the world is ready to receive the new you. You are ready to leave behind the old skin, the old shell that you were using to present yourself to the world. It's no longer of use to you. You can be a lot more open, a lot more honest with who you've become, and the world is going to be very embracing of that. So that might mean a change in status. That might mean a change in profession. When I say status, it might mean you could decide to get married or go back to being single if the relationship hasn't been working for you. In any case, December is going to feel like a bit of a rebirth month for you, Capricorn. For the entire month of December, we've got Mars going through your 11th house of friends and friendships, and also long-term dreams and objectives. So it does seem like this month you will be catching up with quite a few of your friends, and you will get a kick out of realizing how much you've missed them, and how much stamina they bring into your life. You might also be actively reevaluating your long-term goals, which I highly encourage, especially in the month of December. Last but not least, we've got an ending. We've got a completion around the 12th of December in your 6th house of day-to-day work. Are you quitting your job? That's very possible. Are you ending a specific chapter related to your work? Very possible. Are you deciding to move on to the next chapter? Very likely, and there's no point in crying after spilled milk, even though you might be quite confused about what it is that you're going to do next. But one thing is clear, there is an ending knocking at your door, job-wise. So you might decide to ride with the wave, which I advise, or hang on to what's been, which I don't advise. So your choice. My Aquarius brothers and sisters, to those of you who are new to my channel, I am an Aquarius sun. But if you are an Aquarius sun or rising, please listen to this. Not just Aquarius sun, FYI, Aquarius risings, I'm talking to you. What is happening for us in December? So, we've got Jupiter entering into our 12th house, the house that is associated with spirituality, with seclusion, with past lives. Jupiter is entering that house on the 2nd of December, and it's going to be spending the entire year there. So what does that mean? FYI, Jupiter is the bringer of abundance in general, so it means that it magnifies, it amplifies whatever chart sector it is transiting. Which means there will be a major focus for the rest of the year for you on all things 12th house related. Which are, again, connected very much to spirituality. It might feel like this year you find it easier to connect with a higher force, with the rest of the universe. You find it easier to look inwards, to assess your own sense of spirituality, to assess your own connection with higher dimensions. It is also very possible that you might take up some sort of study of the spiritual world or the occult world, such as starting to study astrology or starting a meditation practice. What I do recommend you get a lot of this year is spending time on your own. It's a year in which there will be a lot of looking inwards, of assessing your place in the universe, and that can be done best in silence and far from the crowds. So the more I know this is going to sound very strange for social Aquarius, but the more isolation you can get, the more in touch you will become with yourself and a higher force. For the entire month of December, Mars is going through your 10th house. It looks like the spotlight is going to be a lot on where you are headed career-wise. You might be putting a lot of energy into your career. You might be putting a lot of energy into interacting with your bosses or people who are higher up than you, people in authority, maybe even institutions. I would say if you have been looking to advance your career, people are watching, so higher ups are watching. You've got the energy to make things happen, so it is a really good time to take initiative, speak up, make yourself heard, put yourself out there, and you are very likely going to be rewarded and find yourself at the end of this Mars transit, which is happening on the 3rd of January. You might very well find yourself in a leadership position at the end of all of this. Now, on the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in Gemini in your 5th house of love and creativity. For those of you who are in a romantic relationship, it might be a bit of a challenging time, because it might feel like something is ending relationship wise, or maybe you have this sort of revelation and realize that the person that you've been seeing is not necessarily that good for you, or maybe you're going through a period of disenchantment. Maybe you feel betrayed by a loved one. In any case, it does seem like a completion is coming your way love-wise. Now, last but not least, on the 26th of December, we've got a new moon solar eclipse happening in our 12th house of spirituality, past lives. I would say this ushers in a new beginning, an area in the area that is very much associated with karma, very much associated with karmic ties, karmic links. You might decide to see things in a new light altogether. You might decide to start looking at the big picture. You might decide to start studying things that are outside the realm of the mundane. And it's also the beginning of a phase where you'll feel like you're gonna do very well on your own. So it's an interesting month, and it's an interesting year that you've got ahead of you, very much focused on your spiritual development. Now, if you don't find the time to spend by yourself in isolation, life might actually force you in those circumstances. So you might feel like you're unwell for a long period of time. You might feel like you're burnt out. So that's why I always recommend when this type of transit is happening in someone's life, that they actively decide to step away for longer from the outside world and find solace in solitude, rather than being forced in going into solitude. It does seem to be a year when you have to learn to make peace with yourself and who you really are, Aquarius. Now, last but not least, my lovely Pisceans, what does December have in store for you, and 2020 to an extent? Because in December, we've got Jupiter, your traditional ruler, by the way. In traditional astrology, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, not Neptune. So you actually have two rulers, both Jupiter and Neptune. So you've got Jupiter entering your 11th house of friends, friendships, goals, dreams, ideals, and objectives for the next year till December 2020. What does that mean? It means that this is probably going to be the year, as of December this year, in which you will find your tribe, in which you will find your people. You will find yourself gravitating towards people with similar interests, people who you can really call friends, and people who are really aligned with your way of seeing things, and very possibly aligned with a goal of yours. So people who can help you achieve a goal or a dream of yours. For the entire month of December, Mars is going through your 9th house. It is very possible that this month you might find yourself traveling more than usual, and particularly traveling abroad. Or if you're not traveling abroad, you might find yourself surrounded by foreigners quite a lot. It's also a time... If you are involved in some sort of like legal battle, legal action, you might need to spend a lot of energy on helping things move forward in this legal matter. And last but not least, it's a time when you might find your entire belief system challenged. So your way of seeing the world, your way of doing things, your personal life philosophy, you might find it under siege. And you might find that people have a hard time understanding where you're coming from. That could be a sign that you need to reevaluate the way you communicate your beliefs and the way you try to impress them upon people. Maybe you've got the best intentions, but if you don't find the best way to communicate your intentions, then it's all going to be for nothing. And it might very well be misinterpreted and used against you. So be very careful, my dear Pisces. On the 12th of December, we've got a full moon happening in Gemini in your 4th house of home and family. Is there some sort of completion happening in your family sector? Are you moving out of your house? Are you letting go of a specific tie to your family? Are you made to face an ending, the ending of a chapter in your family and home life? Or it could be that if you've been working hard on furnishing a house, decorating a house, or even buying a house, the process of buying a house, this is all coming to completion halfway through December. By the way, there seems to be a lot of confusion around this particular completion phase, and you might not feel very satisfied with the outcome, so you might need to revisit it. I urge you not to take any sort of like radical decisions in areas that are related to home, residence, family, property, land, real estate, because you don't actually have all the pieces to the puzzle. So bide your time, pace yourself, Pisces. Last but not least, on the 26th of December, there is a new moon happening in your 11th house of friends, your tribe, your people, and your goals and objectives. This is a beautiful solar eclipse happening towards the end of the month, in which you might receive an unexpected boost, an unexpected hand in achieving a particular dream that you've had. Maybe something that you thought was impossible, or it might take years to develop. It does look like the universe is on your side and it wants you to follow a specific dream of yours that incidentally, or probably, most likely, will have a positive impact on the lives of people around you. So it's not just a personal goal. It's a goal that, yes, it's yours, but it is likely gonna impact in a good way other people's lives as well. You're becoming part of something bigger, which is amazing, and I advise you to enjoy it. Last but not least, December is an incredibly social month. So you're going to be surrounded by people all day, all the time, every day, which is nice because you might have felt quite disconnected in the past few months from other people, and you might have felt like your relationships are not really moving in the best of directions. So December is going to be like a balm for your social life. So I'm hoping you have enjoyed this month's horoscope. I'm hoping 2020 is going to be amazing for all of you guys, even though it's probably going to be shocking for all of us. Shockingly amazing. That's what we're aiming for. If you are interested in a personalized horoscope, so one that is based on your natal chart and your natal chart only, so based on your time, date, and place of birth, I offer this type of service, so a 12 months forecast looking at the transits for you. I'm going to leave a link in the description box down below. Please feel free to contact me. And if you want to know more about what life in 2020 has in store for you, please feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you have done so already. And I shall speak to you soon. Bye.